Apple gave us Final Cut for the iPad. Sort of. Just let me explain. If you found this video by it being suggested, I do all things related to Apple, the good and the bad. If that sounds like your thing, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss my next video when I post it. Thank you. For years, Apple users have been asking for Final Cut for the iPad so we could edit our videos on it. Well, sort of. Like everything else, we ask for it without really any expectation that it's going to happen.
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
So, when it does happen, we either look for reasons not to use it,
I'm not interested in anything you're selling!
or we say we're gonna use it, but never really do.
Absolutely, will do, as soon as I have it.
Sound about right? So, it's time for a little story. When Final Cut was officially released, admittedly, I paid half attention. I thought, cool, I wonder what else it can really do. I heard the initial opinions and wanted to give it a try out for myself. So I grabbed my iPad 4th generation to download Final Cut. This was my first mistake. Some of you may know, but for those who don't, the Final Cut app is only available for iPads that have the M1 chip or newer. That means the iPad Pro 11 3rd and 4th gen, the 12.9-inch 4th and 5th gen, and the iPad Air 5th gen are the only current models that will run Final Cut. So I guess it was time to update the old iPad if I really wanted to try this. I decided to pick up the latest M2 iPad Pro 11, 128 gig, so I could have potentially the best experience. I also decided to pick this one up because I could use my current Magic Keyboard and save 300 bucks. Or so I thought. More on that in a couple minutes. This version of Final Cut has some big differences than what we're used to using on the Mac version. First off, this is not a one-time purchase. Apple has decided to make this a subscription-based app, and that is $4.99 a month or 49 bucks for the year. Look, I get it. Everyone else is doing it, and the development of this app will hopefully go well beyond what it already is, and this will help pay for it.
Sure, Jan.
Also, if people don't edit all that often, only paying $4.99 a month to use it could be a big help for people who wouldn't normally have the opportunity to try it out. From the other side, haven't they made enough money? Or if you aren't going to regularly use it, just use iMovie. It's free. I got my I got my new shiny iPad. I've got the app downloaded. I watched the announcement and even checked out some videos on the way that the app works. Now, being a touchscreen interface, Apple was able to do some really cool stuff that you can't do on the Mac version. However, being an app on the iPad also meant it couldn't do other things. Welcome to my second mistake. I bought the 128 gig storage iPad because I wanted to save some money on storage, and I thought, you know what? I'll just edit off an external drive. I am so stupid.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
As of right now, you can't use an external drive to edit from on the app. You do have to edit on the internal storage. So for me, 128 gigs isn't gonna cut it. All right, so here's my tinfoil hat theory on why this isn't allowed right now. Since the iPads are only Thunderbolt 3, Apple will either update the software to allow people to use external drives, or they'll announce the M3 iPads and it will be limited to them because they'll have Thunderbolt 4, so people have to upgrade. Or I'm completely wrong and they'll do what my buddy Jay Littman came up with. They're gonna go ahead and leave it on the internal storage, so we have to buy more storage to be able to do anything extensive. So much for Pro, right? Now, just to add more fuel to the fire, the DaVinci Resolve app allows for external drive editing. So that whole Thunderbolt 3, Thunderbolt 4, I'm not buying that. And the app is free. Now, there's also a paid version, which is a $94 flat fee. Oh, and my iPad Air 4th gen can also be used too.
Light bulb.
Maybe it's time to try out DaVinci Resolve for the iPad? Maybe the Mac?
Oh my God, no!
So those are my biggest concerns for the app. Do you have any since it's been out for a little bit now? Go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know. There are some other things like plugins that were on my list, but they need to take some time to add those, which is totally understandable. I just hope it's sooner than later. Forgetting the negatives that I mentioned, the app experience itself. It's actually pretty awesome what Apple was able to incorporate into this app. Future Mike here. You know what this video is missing? Like me actually using the Final Cut app on the iPad. And, well, this is what I got. Yeah, I apparently didn't hit record right, and you might be thinking, well, just go back and shoot more. More on that in a minute, so back to the video. It's something that looks familiar, but will take some getting used to the more you use it.
That's what she said.
Being able to use the touchscreen to select things and move them around, eventually I think will make the editing process faster once you learn it. The other cool thing is you can still use the keyboard, so what was familiar can still be until you get used to the touch features and add them to your workflow. A couple other things I wanted to point out that are only available for the iPad. Now obviously you do have the ability to use the Apple Pencil. Now this is something I really like. You can add live text to a video, which is something that I would like to use because when I mess something up, I can easily make fun of myself. Perfect. Now you can also use the pencil to select things, which you can normally do with your finger, but it gives you a little bit more precise actions on what you want to pick. Now there are lots of people that have fat fingers out there, so my fat finger people, that was for you. Something called soundtracks was also added. You can use these copyright-free songs and clips, and this is really neat. It will automatically adjust the length to the clip that you want to use. Right now there's only 40 available. Hopefully they'll add more down the line. Now, will I be using this as part of my workflow when I'm editing videos? With the lack of external editing features, I just can't justify paying more than what I would for a laptop and do the same work on it. Also, as for right now, there are features that I'm not able to get in Final Cut, and I feel like that would just slow down my editing because if I needed something, I'd have to change it back to the desktop and back and forth, and at that point, I'm just gonna go ahead and start on the desktop and finish there. If I wanted to get away from my desktop and edit, I'll just use my MacBook Pro, which allows me to have full access to everything, and I can edit from an external drive. With these limitations, it's clear you know my answer is no. In fact, I returned that iPad because of these limitations. As of right now, I'm better off with my iPad Air and just do the simple things and leave the editing to the desktop and the laptop. But it does seem with the research making this video, DaVinci Resolve might be an option with a more powerful app for the iPad. Maybe I should give it a try. If you want to see that, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. If you want to see why I don't think the iPad Pro is pro enough, go ahead and check out this video right here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you won't miss my next video. See ya.